That's right. Thanks, Matinka. The grass is starting to get green. A few buds are on the branches, and Central Iowans are getting ready to dig in some dirt again. Jerry, nice to see you again.
Good morning, Amanda, and good morning to everyone out there. And it is time to Hy-Vee Get Growing with Jerry Kluver.
That's
yes,
right.
Here we go.
All right, well, let's get right to our first question. Our first question comes from Tim in Urbandale. I'm thinking about mulching around my trees and shrubs. What type of mulch do you recommend?
Well, you go out to these Hy-Vee parking lots and you see piles, and I can assure you that, you're concerned about what kind to select. I would go for a hardwood mulch, and most all the colored mulches, whether they're black, gold, red, brown, they're all hardwood, so I'd select that. But don't be too conservative when you put it around trees and shrubs. A lot of people I've seen out this week already mulching. Put 3-4 inches of good mulch down, and it'll help keep the plants cool, the trees cool, and be weed-free.
Excellent. I like weed-free.
You bet.
All right, second question comes from Kim in Des Moines. Can you plant an Easter lily outside? Can you give me some tips on when and how to plant it and what kind of sunlight or shade it needs?
Absolutely. Right now at the Hy-Vee Florals, just like this, you've got a beautiful Easter lily. Enjoy it till the hilt. And, of course, when the blooms go away, don't stop watering it right at that point. But then you can go ahead later in May, I would say, when the soil gets nice and warmer, then I would take the plant out of the pot, stick it on the east side. That's a safe place to plant it. And, of course, don't expect it to come up in March and bloom next year. It'll probably bloom for you in the month of June in like 2011, and you'll be successful. Recycle that plant. It's such a gorgeous plant.
Very good. All right. Next one comes from Tina in Boone. Jerry, I have a climbing rose bush, but I'm unsure if I should prune it or not. I've heard many different answers. What do you suggest?
To answer her question, don't prune severely. You can prune just a little bit. If it's on a trellis of your favorite, or maybe it's on a fence, don't prune a climbing rose bush. Better yet, just trim it to your shape, to your liking. Yes, hybrid tea, grandiflora, floribundas, knockout, shrub roses you can trim, but don't prune them back very severe either, because we have a short season and we need to keep them blooms coming. Okay?
All right, sounds good. And Dave from Carroll asks, my hostas are starting to come up. What should I do to prepare them for spring?
Well, what I'd do is I'd reach for a 40-ounce bottle of Hy-Vee plant starter, mix that 3 ounces to 1 gallon of water. That'll make you about 13 gallon of mix. And put maybe a half a gallon on each plant, because them little guys are starting to show their spikes, and it's time to do it.
All right, it's not too early?
No, not too early at all.
Perfect. All right. Melissa from Des Moines, when is the appropriate time to split hostas? Do you have any tips for successfully splitting and transplanting them?
Well, I would go ahead as soon as you see the spikes, take a sharp 18-inch tile spade, cut around it, go down deep, lay it out on the ground like a huge basketball. Can you imagine that? Make 4 plants out of it. Again, use your plant starter, stick them back in the ground, give them plenty space. And the hosta menu is large out there. Some of them get extremely large. So when you go to select a hosta, make sure you read the tag to see how large it gets. And then add some EcoSense Ortho slug and snail bait, because soon as the leaves roll out, them little guys are going to start eating holes in your leaves, and you don't want that.
Oh, I've seen that happen. All right. Todd from Newton wants to know, my evergreens turned brown over the winter. What do I do now?
Well, relax. Probably here towards the end of April. Get the head shears out, or maybe the electric trimmer. Cut it back just a little bit. Obviously, when you see some new growth, let's give them some Miracle-Gro, and you're going to see some great growth this summer.
Great. All right. I think we have time for one last question. What's the best time to plant garden seeds? From
I would plant garden seed as soon as the soil warms up just a little bit here, probably in a couple weeks, and you'll be fine.
All right.
Garden seed is out there on the rack, and it's time to select right now.
Okay, great. Well, if you have a gardening or growing question, just drop Jerry an email. Go to Hy-Vee.com and click on the Get Growing logo. He'll be back next week to answer more of your questions. And keeping up with our spring cleaning theme this Saturday morning, if you have broken twigs and